It's close enough for me. Call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone here this evening. I'll ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and since this is most likely my last meeting, I'm going to lead it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ask for approval of the agenda. Any changes, modifications?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you. Okay, we have the special recognitions. We have several tonight, but I believe our people are here. So with that being the case, I'm going to go to the podium. For those that have not been to the meetings or don't understand, we do a special recognition, excuse me, of a student and a teacher from one of the local schools, public schools. And this month it's Wakeland Elementary School. Is Kristen Ward here? Would you come up and join me, please? Excuse me. I want to read you a little bit about Kristen. Kristen Ward is a kind-hearted young man. He is respectful, helpful, and polite at all times. He advocates for fairness and integrity with his peers and classmates. He truly cares about the well-being of the school, community, and the people around him. He strives for success in his academics. He perseveres despite any obstacle he might face. He is very amicable and gets along well among everyone. Kristen is an exemplary student that represents the heart and soul of Wakeland Elementary. And I'd like to give him a hand, please. You can sit down. Thank you. It's Kiesha Allen. Did I pronounce that correctly? Okay, good, thank you. Okay, Ms. Kiesha Allen is a ray of sunshine to the students, staff, and families at Wakeland. As our media specialist, she goes above and beyond to make books come to life for our young readers. She can be seen daily dressed in costume as the book character of the day. Our students look forward to going to the Media Center to visit Ms. Allen and check out books. Ms. Allen also spreads positivity throughout our building. She sends positive messages to the staff each week, and she holds a sign each day during carpool with inspirational messages. Parents have enjoyed Ms. Allen's messages each morning, and one of them nominated her to WRAL for Teacher of the Week. Ms. Allen's interview recently aired on WRAL. She shared that her goal each day is to encourage students to read, to inspire them to be great. Wakeland is fortunate to have Ms. Allen as a member of our school family, and we're fortunate to have you in our community. Okay, we have tonight a special gift dedication by former Commissioner Don Bumgardner. Don's with us this evening. And Don?
Thank you. I came right here for one reason. Most of you might have seen the little bench that's sitting outside the doors there. I hope you read what was on it, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it so you can appreciate it just a little bit better. Right here maybe it was right here. Used to be a great big hole in the ceiling. And right here was a great big hole where the steps came up. Some of you remember that. But anyway, you probably don't remember the hole because that was done during the reconstruction of this building. Now, in that tower up there, the engineering that went into it was totally 1905. That was a long time ago, 100 years, well, since our anniversary here. But the reason I mentioned that is because timbers were stacked on top of one another to build the foundation for the tower. Again, that's not what the engineering would do today, but that's what they did back then. Now, I don't know exactly how I ended up with these timbers and all the floor joists that came out of this stairway hole, but I did. What I'm trying to tell you is I made that bench out of appreciation for all the kind things that has gone on in the past 26, 27 years. That's the whole point of the matter. People were good to me. I want to be good back to them. That's the whole thing about that. It's not really important that the boards are 200 years old. You got to remember that, well, from 1905 to 2005, that's 100 years. But it took at least 100 years to grow the tree big enough to cut the timber out of. So, you know, appreciate the fact that it is that old. Now, talking about old things, we've got an old mayor that's leaving this place in about a month. I want to say a few things about him. Now, I don't know of anyone who's ever said anything bad about Bob Matheny. I have no idea that they have. I can only say good things about him. He's been upright, he's been honest with everything that he's ever done that I know of. He's not old, he's just retiring, that's all. You know, that's not a bad thing in itself, retirement. I can tell you this though, one more thing, a little testimonial. I was tied down for 17 weeks. Bob came to see me at least every other week. He came, sat down with me, and we talked. I'm in a hospital bed, and he's sitting there talking to me. And as I progressed, he came and we sat on my porch and we talked there. You can't believe how much that was important to me. It was one of the great things that I think Bob ever did. And I appreciate that. But speaking of old things, just sit right still there for a second. Be right back.
Ain't no telling it.
Anyway, Bob, I want you to have something in this building as you leave this job. So here's your a bench to go along with.
May I help you with that?
And put it in my mouth. Yeah, this you know anywhere you want to, leave it in one of it. And anyway, the inscription on this little piece of metal here says, to Mayor Bob Matheny, for the guy who sat on my left 26 years. Thank you.
I can think a lot about Don as well. It's been a pleasure to work with him. It's even been more of a pleasure to be your friend.
Thanks, sir.
So, thank you. I would entertain a motion from the board to accept the gift outside from Don, and with our gratitude and thanks not only for his service but for the gift to the town.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much, and Don. Okay, we have a public comment period each month, and people can come in and sign up to speak to us for 3 minutes for whatever's on their mind. So we have Janine Keys from Pineview Drive.
No, it was part of the agenda, but maybe if I had a question,
Oh, so you have no comments to make?
no.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have 3 public hearings. The first is a Pony Road subdivision. They're on annexation, so I'll call for staff report. And I call the public hearing to order, by the way.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. The first public hearing tonight is the Pony Road annexation, ordinance number 2022-27. The applicant is Pam Porter. The property owner is PNC of North Carolina and Govind, Chandak. The property address is 705 Pony Road, 0 Mack Todd Road, and Harmonica Drive. The size of the parcel is 163 acres. This parcel will look familiar because it was recently rezoned a few months ago. It's located on Pony Road, south of the intersection of West Gandon. Here's the public hearing sign on Pony Road. This is the adjacent assisted or multifamily residence to the adjacent north. This is some non-residential uses across the street from the subject site, and this is a photo of the subject site. The 2 comprehensive plan policies are utility connections. They are requesting annexation because they're wanting to connect to the public water and sewer system, and then priorities. Based off of the annual taxes collected from each property, it'd be about $550,000 a year. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, is there any comment from the public on this hearing? Yes. You have to come to the podium. I know.
Let me say I'm glad to be here. I thought that my time was up 5 years ago, that I wouldn't be coming to no meetings or anywhere else, doing nothing else, because I thought I was going to leave this earth. But God got another plan. Now, I want you to repeat. I can't half hear what he's saying about Pony Road. You're talking about a development on Pony Road, which is down there now. Could you explain that to me again? Explain what's going on at Pony Road.
There's about 163 acres. It's 3 properties that have access onto Pony Road that they want to develop and they want to develop into a subdivision.
They want to develop that in a subdivision? That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
So, have you all, have the town okayed it yet? I don't know, see, I don't know about it, I just heard about it.
Right.
I've been
Yes.
sick for 3 years.
Right. There is a public hearing on this property to rezone it about 2 months ago.
10 months ago. So, now you want to put a subdivision down there on the whole thing? How many houses are gonna be down there?
About roughly 400.
400 houses? Okay, what about the setback for the creek? How much setback is on the creek?
Well, where's the creek?
You don't know where the creek is?
No,
And
I
you gonna
don't.
put a subdivision down there?
Well, I'm not. There's a developer that's
Oh.
building it.
Okay, well, the creek is down on the side, it's out of town. See, that's not in the town, the district of the town. It's right at the edge. That's where the creek is. But you don't know where it is?
Well, I mean, is it on the back portion of the property?
Yeah, it's down on the, you know where they are?
More than likely, there's probably gonna be about a 50-foot buffer. I mean, most.
That all? On that creek?
Yes, sir.
And a 50-foot buffer? And you had the engineers to look at this?
It wasn't our engineers.
Who's the engineer?
The developer who's developing it has their engineers. But I think what we need to focus on today is that's already approved. What they're asking right now is to annex into the town just for water and sewer.
Oh, that's what it is.
Griffin,
Sir.
can I interrupt you? This hearing tonight is not about the design of this subdivision. We've already had that public hearing. What it is whether to bring it within the corporate limits of the town or not. Now, what I would invite you to do is to come down and meet with our staff, and they can put all this up and show you what the development will be, what can be developed. There's wetlands that cannot be developed. So they'd be happy to spend that time with you. But all of that was handled at a public hearing of zoning back about 10 months ago. This hearing is really whether to bring them within the corporate limits or not.
Okay, now who do I need to see from the town?
You can see Meade here, and he'll be glad to set it up for you. But
Sometime
they'll
this
be
week?
happy to meet with you and go over all that and answer those questions for you.
I sure want to talk to him, okay?
Okay.
So I'll know. I'm just coming out of there, like I said.
I don't blame you for wanting to know. I
I want
really
to
don't.
know, I want to know it's down there in my neighborhood, and I want to know, and I hope everybody here want me to know.
Yes, and that's right, and that's
'Cause
why,
I've been around here all my life.
well, I've known you
wanna
for
know
all
what's
my life, just about, not quite, but a long time. But the point being is, it's an open door for you to come down and meet with these people. They'll go over it all, they'll show you maps, aerials, a layout for streets, everything about it, and answer those questions. But this public hearing is whether to bring them within the corporate limits or not.
Okay, I just want to know.
Okay,
All
I get
right.
it, I get
So
it.
thank you very much.
All right.
For letting me know what you just said, and I'll meet with you, sir, when?
This week.
Anytime this week?
I'll write down my number for you.
Okay. You have to excuse us. Okay, what's your name?
Mead.
Mead?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mrs. Mead. Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Griffin.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else that would care to speak on this issue? Yes, ma'am. If you would give your name, please.
Miss Janine Keys. I guess I don't know too much about development but my question is, why would he have to ask that? What are the implications of keeping it within the town zone?
So currently, this 163 acres it's in our extraterritorial jurisdiction, meaning some laws apply and some don't. The reason that they want to annex into the town is because currently they don't have water and sewer. And to build the subdivision that they want to build, currently they'd have to use well and septic. They don't want to use well and septic. They want to use water and sewer because the amount of houses that they're proposing on the property.
The second question to that, the follow-up question is, what type of strain would it put on our resources in Zebulon? Because I know that our water in Zebulon has a lot of burden to it. I remember when I first moved here, our water was great, but then it started smelling funny, tasting funny, and then I guess we transferred it to Raleigh. So how much strain or stress will it be on our resources?
As far as water, I've contacted the City of Raleigh. There won't be any issue with water and water pressure, and same with sewer. It's available.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak on this issue? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and it comes up later on the agenda. The next one is annexation of Jasper Place. Staff report.
This ordinance number is 2022-28. The applicant is Andrew Soriano. The property owner is the Wesley Eeks LLC. Property address is 1317 West Cannon Avenue, and the size of the property is 51 acres. Subject parcels located on West Cannon, also has frontage on water plant, just north of the Pineview subdivision. This is the extraterritorial jurisdiction map. It is contiguous with other areas of the town of Zebulon, with the Braemar to the north and Pineview to the south. So the subject site, this is looking south on water plant. This is the subject site from water plant. These are some large single-family residences on larger lots. This is an adjacent single-family residence. And the comprehensive plan policies, same as the previous annexation, the connection to utilities and then priorities. And then the annual taxes collected on this property would be $130,000. That concludes my presentation.
Questions from the board? Okay, anyone in the general public wishing to make a comment on this issue? Okay, we'll close that public hearing and open the SPC mechanical.
This is ordinance 2022-29. The applicant is Chris Williford. Property owner is FDA LLC. The property address is 700 East Gannon Avenue. The size of the parcel is 4.76 acres. Property's located on East Gannon Avenue, just west of the Walmart shopping center. This is the extraterritorial jurisdiction map. As you can see, there are corporate limits to the east and to the west. It is adjacent to the south, but there is a large area that's ETJ. This 4.76 acres is looking to connect due to water and sewer availability. It's looking east on East Cannon Avenue. This is looking across the street. This is a shot at looking west on East Cannon Avenue. And then this is the building that's currently under construction. The same comprehensive plan policies apply to this request, utility connections, and then priorities. And then the annual taxes collected on this property would be about $7,000 a year. That concludes my presentation.
Any questions from the board? Anybody in the general public comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Barbeau. I'm a senior project manager with the Timmons Group in Raleigh, 5410 Trinity Drive in Raleigh. I'm here representing Chris Williford and SPC Mechanical. They're one of the largest plumbing and HVAC contractors in the state. And what they're planning on doing with this property is they're going to open their North Carolina service station, where they'll have their employees come in and they'll travel through different parts of North Carolina, but this will be their service headquarters. So it's a family-owned business. Mark Williford and Chris Williford both own the company, and they told me to say they're very excited about moving into Zebulon, and they're also trying to get their employees to. Some of their employees are already talking about moving into the area for being close to the service center. So, did you have any questions about the project?
Question?
Yeah. They will be widening as part of the project. We've been approved by DOT, the town of Zebulon, City of Raleigh for Public Utilities has approved us. We will be widening Gannon Road or Gannon Ave as part of the project. So we're putting curb and gutter in. We're putting a turn lane into the site, left turn lane into the site, and also installing sidewalks. So it's part of the improvements. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, hearing none, we'll close that public hearing and move on to the consent agenda. I do want to go back, I'm sorry, I want to amend the consent agenda by taking general item number 2 out and moving it to old business number 3. So in adopting the consent agenda, you would be approving that move. So what's your pleasure?
I move to approve the consent agenda with the amendment.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Made and second. All in favor? Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry for that delay. Should have done that earlier, but I didn't. Okay, we'll go to old business, Parks and Recreation Impact Fee Study.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and members of the board. This evening, we are bringing back the Recreation Impact Fee Study for your consideration. As you know, we've recently adopted our master plan, and I shared in the joint public hearing, we understood going into this plan we were going to be experiencing significant growth. So our plan really took that into account. And based on the growth that's expected, 4 new neighborhood parks were identified, as well as expanding and enhancing some of our existing parks, like our community park. In order to do this, it requires a variety of revenue sources. In addition to our master plan, we did a recreation impact fee study. An impact fee study is separate and apart from your recreation master plan. It has its own recommendations, and its recommendations are based on maintaining your existing levels of service, and that what the impact on new development will have and how you could mitigate the impact of new development. So a series of calculations were done and provided to you in detail. The parkland acquisition was estimated to be on a cost per person basis at $596.21. Development of parkland is $460.09 per resident. Park improvements, $327.21. And then the building space is $547.41. That's a total per person calculation of $1,930.92. To calculate this, Tischelbeiss used the census count, which is for persons per unit, which is typically your single-family unit or your multifamily unit, and that's how the maximum proposed fee was calculated. So the single-family rate was the per-person rate times 2.69. So the maximum allowed fee is $5,194. For multifamily at 2.37 people per unit, your maximum proposed fee is $4,576. Our recreation master plan worked at the same time with this impact fee study, and it was recommended from that plan that we consider adopting a $3,000 for a single family unit, impact fee and a $2,500 fee for multifamilies. The local act, it was discussed, and I'm happy for Eric to join in and share if you have more questions about this. But it did require that this study be completed, that we anticipated cost, described characteristics of construction, as well as a plan to provide one or more recreation projects. We are required to hold a public hearing, which was held on September 20th. The planning board was required to make a recommendation. They were unanimous in recommending that this fee be adopted on September 27th. And our policy, or our local act also requires that we consider land dedication credit opportunities, which is also accounted for in your UDO. I'm happy to answer questions that you may have.
Question?
Is this the same study that was presented to us earlier?
Yes.
So it hasn't been amended to take into account the actual amount of acreage that we're going to be proposing to acquire? It's using the old numbers of just what we currently have?
So the study, for it to be a legal document and what has been defined in a court setting, that you have to be able to show the burden on your current residents and what this development will, how that development burden will be affected by your existing residents. And so that land acreage calculation that you saw recognizes town-owned property and the current level of service offered by the town of Zebulon to its residents. So it's not based on how many acres you're looking to buy based on your master plan. It's based on what is that level of service you currently offer based on property you currently own as parkland. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Then the next item would be to move to ordinance 2022-26.
Did you want to adopt the study?
Well, that's what it is, the adoption of this. I didn't know if you had any further comments you wanted to make.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay.
I misunderstood what you said.
No, that's fine. Okay, what's your pleasure, folks?
I need to have an understanding. We are adopting ordinance 2022-26, which is the fee schedule amendment?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
So there's two things we're doing tonight. You're adopting the fee study just in itself, and then you're adopting a fee schedule change. So this first piece is just to adopt the study. It's not actually adopting the fee.
Okay. Well, I was looking ahead to 26, which is the fee schedule itself. Okay. All right, so let me get back to the right page here. Bear with me. Okay, so there's not a number on it, it's just, huh? Yeah, okay. There's not a number on it, so what we're doing is simply adopting the Parks and Recreation Impact Fee Study. That's the first step, so that's what we're doing right now.
So move.
Okay. Made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you. And the next is to adopt ordinance 2022-26, which amends the fee schedule itself.
So move that we adopt ordinance 2022-26.
Okay?
Second.
Motion made, second. Other comments or discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When we discussed this last time, I asked about the effective date, and it was stated that we would make it effective the date we accepted it. And then on this, I see an effective date of January 1, 2022. Why the change?
Yeah, I'm not, I don't recall there being a specific guidance to make it effective immediately. that it was open to discussion, which our recommendation is January 1st, because that will give us the opportunity to work with the developers, make sure that everyone's educated, staff's educated, and just get processes in place that need to be in place. But that date, that recommended date of January 1st is up for consideration.
Okay, just a question.
Did Mike have any comment?
What was that? Mike has some information he said he'd share.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. That immediate date was based on the discussion. It was a recommendation initially by the planning board. They were concerned that developers would take unfair advantage of it. Initially, that was taken in consideration if this became or came before you at the November meeting, being that, or the October meeting, being that it's coming before you at this meeting. It's going to take some time for us to transition to be able to start collecting this fee. Therefore, that's why staff recommended January 1st, 2022, to allow for us to have time to amend our software, as well as give the development community a heads up on this is the definitive date of adoption, or of effectiveness.
All right, thank you.
Could I ask Michael a question, please?
Yes.
So, do you have an estimate of the number of homes that will be completed prior to January 1st? That won't fall under this new ordinance?
We do have approximately, I want to say either 175 to 200 lots that are currently under construction. We do have another 20 applications in process. However, we do have approximately 3,000 dwelling units that vested rights that have yet to begin construction. So in terms of the overall percentage of those that have vested right, it's a very small percentage that'd be able to take advantage of this opportunity. The other caveat with that is most of the developments that are under construction right now have a limited supply of lots available to them. In order to be able to realize this, they would have to have all the infrastructure installed and accepted in order for those lots to be platted in order to get the building permits. So the number that could take advantage of this at this point in time is very marginal.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next we have the EMS item that I added. Let me get to the right page, please. We did discuss this at our work session and put off action until tonight just so that it could be public. I'll give a little bit of background if I may, Mr. Moore, and then I'll turn it to you, and I've asked Eric to speak a little bit if he wants to on it. You may be aware that Eastern Wake EMS owned the building and the lot that comes up to our fire station downtown, and the Eastern Wake EMS was merged into the Wake County EMS. So EMS is in the process of disposing of its assets and liquidating. One of its assets is that property downtown, which originally was owned by Zebulon Area Rescue Squad and went to Eastern Wake EMS when Area Rescue was merged under that, along with Wendell, Nightdale, Roseville, and some others. Well, I think that was all. But anyway, the point being is in dissolving the Eastern Wake EMS, the Eastern Wake EMS board decided that since the town rescue squad raised the money and purchased the property and then gave it to Eastern Wake EMS, the fair thing to do was to sell it back to the town for $1. So that's what they have adopted and proposed to do. And the studies that occurred, I'll let town manager and town attorney sort of bring you up to speed on that. Our mission tonight is to accept the property so that we can go ahead and close on it, and I think we're sitting on go for that, if I'm not mistaken. Joe?
Thank you, Mayor. On May 3rd, 2021, the Zebulon Board of Commissioners, determining the property will serve a public purpose in both the near and long term, expressed an interest in acquiring the property by funding the necessary due diligence prior to executing a deed transfer. The due diligence included research on the property title, survey, structure, and environmental condition. That due diligence is now complete, and staff recommends approval of Resolution 2022-06, accepting the deed transfer of the Eastern Wake EMS property.
Eric, you have anything to add to that?
I met with Garland Tant, who is the most recent chief of the East Wake EMS, and he provided me a little bit of insight as well into the historical aspects of the East Wake EMS, how it came to be formed, and how it developed its assets, including the money to pay for this building and all of the other things they did to operate. And he informed me not only of the mayor's involvement in this from the day one that the EMS was founded, but also that every penny of developing that East Wake EMS was from contributions from the citizens of Zebulon for the most part. And that was the motivation that he had for giving this building back, because all of the money came for the citizens of this town. None of it was public money, tax money. It was all gifts that were made to East Wake EMS. That's all I have to say.
Well, as a tongue-in-cheek statement, I will say that a lot of chickens and a lot of pigs gave their life to raise money for that, because the Zebulon Area Rescue Squad held barbecue every year along with other donations. But having been there at the beginning, here I am at the end. So what I would ask for is a motion from the board adopting Resolution 2022-06 and extending our gratitude to Eastern Wake EMS for their consideration and generosity.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you very much, folks. Okay, planning, ordinance 2022-27, annexation request, Pony Road subdivision. Thanks, Eric.
Based on the public hearing, if the board decides to approve this ordinance number, I have a motion on the screen.
Recommendation of approval of ordinance 2022-27 based upon the consistency with the town Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan. Recommended adoption of ordinance 2022-27.
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you. All right, 2022-28.
This was the Jasper Place annexation on West Gannon Avenue. If the board feels they'd like to approve this annexation request, there's a motion on the screen.
I move to approve ordinance 2022-28 based upon the consistency with the Town of Zebulon Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. 2022-29.
This is the SPC Mechanical annexation request. The board chooses to approve this annexation. There's a motion on the screen.
I recommend approval of ordinance 2022-29 based upon the consistency with the Town of Zebulon's Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. And the motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Meek.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to board comments. Glenn, I'll start with you tonight.
Vote tomorrow.
Shannon?
I'd like to send a huge shout out and a debt of gratitude to the Zebulon Police Department for making all of our trick-or-treaters have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween last night. And to the fire department for their assistance when needed last night. I think that it is clear how much the town really, really cares for its citizens and its tiniest humans. So big thanks to them, and I will reiterate Commissioner York's statement. Get out there and vote.
Thank you. Beverly?
I went out trick-or-treating, and it was nice, and I saw the policemen going around, so it was safe. Still a lot of cars riding around in the neighborhood, but instead of walking like we used to. And everybody else go vote. It's very important that the citizens vote.
Okay, Annie?
I always say the same thing. Go out and vote and open at 6:30 and close at 7 o'clock.
7:30.
7:30.
I'd like to publicly thank Mayor Matheny for your 4 decades plus years of service, and remind everybody there is a celebration on November the 18th from 4 to 8 at Old Raleigh Distillery, and please stop by, shake his hand, pat him on the back. That's a lot of nights down here.
Might even buy me a drink, hadn't you?
There you go.
All right, thank you, Larry. Yeah, I just want to tell everybody it's been a pleasure. 44 years on the board, 2 years on the planning board, and I had no idea when I first got involved with the town of Zebulon I'd be sitting here this old and still doing it. But anyway, it's been a real pleasure, and I do love this community, so I'm going to live here. A lot of people ask me if I'm going to move to my mountain house. No. But I will spend more time up there, I hope, but I'm not moving. Okay, manager's report. Joe?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. My thunder got stolen a little bit, so yes, please get out there and vote. I usually use this time to give the board and the community a preview of an upcoming work session or joint public hearing. We will not have a joint public hearing, and we will not have a work session on the 18th because that is the date of the reception that Commissioner Laux referenced. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize that the mayor, in fact, has served close to half of a century of public service. I've been fortunate to work with him for a little over 6 years of that. For those that don't know, we have what I'll call as a privy council every week where we sit down, and I've very much enjoyed how much he has encouraged robust and transparent conversations. When he asks for your opinion, he really means it. And I have taken to heart that he is a man of his word, that when he says, run for the position, not for the title. And because of that, he has put in a lot of hard work, as the commissioners have said, and Zebulon is in definitely a much better place for years of service. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Y'all relax, I really am going. Thank you. Okay, that wraps it for tonight, so need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you.